Good evening. It's Saturday the 23rd of April. It's just past 6 o'clock and welcome to our weekly news programme. And of course today is St George's Day and we will return to that later in today's programme. So in the news this week, an unauthorised gathering of people in the East Lulworth area was dispersed by Dorset Police last weekend. The incident was first reported to police at 12:36 a.m. on Sunday the 17th of April. It was believed that about 1,000 people were attending the event, with a large number of vehicles seen travelling through the area. Throughout the night and day, police supported by partner agencies including the MOD, Dorset Council, Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue and other public services worked hard to deal with the risks and impacts to the local community and bring the event to a safe conclusion. Deputy Chief Constable Sam Derea said, "Throughout the incident we worked in partnership with other public sector and military agencies to achieve the positive resolution. Police officers entered the site and directed people to leave the scene of the unauthorised gathering using powers under the Public Order Act. Due to the large scale of the event and the inherent impact of dispersing such high numbers of people, this process took some time. In our operations we always have to balance enforcement activities with the safety of our officers and all others involved. Making sure the site is cleared without any escalation or moving the risk to our road network is always a difficult process." Now, staying with Dorset Police, Dorset Police want you to look at images of two people. Here's the first one coming up now. They are issuing the CCTV images of two men they'd like to identify following a burglary at a church in Weymouth. At around 12:45 on Thursday the 31st of March, a man entered St Joseph's Church in Stavardale Road and was seen to check all areas of the church before leaving the building. So that's one of them there, and here's the other one they're looking for. A second man entered the church at around 5:15 p.m. on the same day. It was later established that a number of electrical items had been stolen from a locked area of the church, including a laptop, 10 microphones, 2 speakers and microphone leads. Now, anyone with information is asked to contact Dorset Police on the usual number, which is 101, or anonymously via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. So I'll just show you those two pictures again. One on the screen now, and here's the other one. There's the other one with a rather distinctive hat and rucksack. Okay, Dorset County Hospital have opened a new 8-patient therapy centre in Charlton Down. And Charlton Down, if you don't recognise it, is the name for the old Harrison Hospital site, or the Harrison Estate just outside Dorchester. The centre on Sharon Avenue hosts a variety of physiotherapy services, including musculoskeletal, respiratory and pelvic health, as well as speech and language therapy. Over the last 2 years, teams have been operating from their Weymouth base as well as a temporary location in Dorchester due to the pressures on COVID-19 and ongoing building work on the main hospital site. The Trust has received one-off funding from NHS England of £15 million as part of a drive to upgrade several emergency departments across the country. This meant that some services at DCH had to be relocated to make room for the improvements to the emergency department, including 8-patient therapy teams like the one we've just mentioned. The centre at Charlton Down will offer appointments for patients who have been referred by primary care, secondary care or who have self-referred themselves. It has 6 clinic rooms and a large gym space plus parking for patients and visitors. Having more space and a new base will help the team see more patients and help tackle the waiting lists. Firefighters have managed to save a property in Dorset following a garage fire at an address. Firefighters were called to the address at 7:15 a.m. on the 17th of April. On arrival, crews found a garage well alight. They used 3 hose reels, 2 main lines and 8 sets of breathing apparatus to extinguish the fire, which affected the garage and the utility room of the property. Station manager Mark Downing said crews worked extensively hard this morning to contain this fire and prevent it spreading to the rest of the property. Thankfully, smoke alarms fitted within the house provided an early warning to the occupiers, who were able to get out and call us. Firefighters treated one resident at the scene for smoke inhalation. He went on to say, after a fire investigation, we believe the cause of the fire to be electrical. This is a good opportunity to remind residents that we have some important electrical fire safety tips on the Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue website, including information on battery chargers, electric sockets and appliances. I'd also like to remind the public to ensure they have working smoke alarms on every level of their home, as this can really save your life. Now, more information on smoke alarms and electrical fire safety can be found on the Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue website at www.dwfire.org.uk/safety-at-home. That's it, yeah, safety-at-home. www.dwfire.org.uk/safety-at-home. There we go. Useful advice there from Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue. Local MP Richard Drax has voiced his support for a new children's home in Weymouth during a visit to the Harbour Children's Residential Hub in Dorchester Road. The Harbour is based on an approach used in North Yorkshire, which brings different professionals together in one place to work with young people on the edge of care and in the care system. There is a strong evidence that this support makes a real difference for younger people in improving their life outcomes. It provides an innovative multi-agency approach to support the most vulnerable young people to improve safety, stability, engagement in education, training and work readiness and emotional well-being. Work has been completed on what was a derelict but striking Edwardian property, bringing the building back to its original glory to provide the residential hub from which the harbour will operate. Mr. Drax was shown around the impressive home and said he was mightily impressed by what he saw and heard. He also said he was alarmed at the huge number of children and teenagers needing the help of the centre and would like to thank them for all that they do for the young people. It's tragic to see so many young people's lives blighted before they get a chance to stand on their own 2 feet as adults, Mr. Drax said. In furnishing, Dorset Council have taken an innovative approach to purchase previously adored furniture to create a more homely environment, improve quality and reduce carbon and waste impacts. A spokesman for Dorset Council said the Harbour Residential Hub will provide a warm and welcome homely setting which will improve emotional well-being and give our young people the surroundings they need to thrive and will help them to engage in education, training and work readiness. Now, if you're a music lover, music lovers won't want to miss a concert by the Occasional Singers Baroque Masterworks concert at St Mary's Church in Dorchester on Saturday the 30th of April. Entrance is free and there will be a retiring collection for Alzheimer's Research UK. The concert will begin at 7:30. The Occasional Singers present a concert of short Baroque masterworks for voices, oboe and strings. They will be joined by the soprano Alison Rose and the tenor Lawrence Thackeray as they run the gamut of emotions from the gentle romantic passion of Handel's duet As Stills the Morn to the high drama of Vivaldi's Magnificat. All proceeds from the concert will go to Alzheimer's Research UK, the UK's leading dementia research charity. The event was organised by the Occasional Singers, who were inspired by the death of the husband of one of their members. The choir, which always raises money for various causes at their concerts, is keen to support research into dementia as it impacts so many people in the UK, with more than half of the population having been affected by dementia in one way or other. The Occasional Singers hope to raise at least £1,250 for Alzheimer's Research UK, which powers world-class studies focusing on prevention, diagnosis and treatments for dementia. There are now nearly 1 million people in the UK living with dementia. For more information about the event, you can go along to www.occasionalsingersdorset.wordpress.com. That's www.occasionalsingersdorset.wordpress.com. Now, good news on the schools front. Most Dorset youngsters have been offered their first preference for schools in September this year. Parents and carers in the Dorset Council area will have found out this week which school their children will be joining from September. Overall, those offered their first preference has increased to just under 96%, from just under 95% last year. And now this breaks down as follows. 94.68% have been offered their first preference of reception school. 98.09% have been offered their first preference for junior school, and 97.4% have been offered their first preference for middle school. The Dorset Schools admissions team received 4,302 applications, and they were able to offer 4,112 families their first choice of school, which is 95.58% overall. Dorset Council have also said for those parents who have children starting school for the first time in September, there are some small things that parents can do at home to help their child prepare for starting in reception. Now those things are: encourage them to get dressed and undressed and use the toilet independently, help them become familiar with numbers, letters and sounds, and reading and singing nursery rhymes. Well, that all sounds a bit of fun, doesn't it? And some things that parents can do to help get their children ready for reception. Now, parents and carers should be able to log on to their online account from 9:30 on the 19th, which is obviously a few days ago, to see the outcome of their application. In addition, where an email address was submitted as part of the application, you will have had an email as well. So if you submitted an application and you put your email address in and you haven't had an email, check your junk email, because they've been sent out and it's possible that it's sat in your junk email. Over 96% of parents and carers chose to complete their applications online, so that does apply to most people. Now, anyone without an email address or online access can contact the Dorset Council Schools admissions team by telephone to find out their result, and the number for that is 01305 221 060. Now remember, they'll only be there during office hours Monday to Friday, but if you haven't got access to email or an online account for admissions to schools in Dorset, ring the Council Schools admission team in office hours during the week on 01305 221 060. Now, whilst we're talking about schools, a number of people have been asking, with Ukrainian refugees moving into the area, what they do about schooling. Now, they need to apply through the usual Dorset Council website, and it's called In-Year Fair Access Scheme. And what it does mean is people moving to the area during the school year can apply for school places, and they do get considered very quickly and placed in local schools. So if you're hosting a Ukrainian family, or you've got one on the way, go along to the school's admission pages on the Dorset Council website and get an application in for them, so that they can get into the school system as soon as possible when they get here. Now, Weymouth Town Council is to mark Anzac Day this week. Weymouth Town Council will host a service of remembrance at 11 o'clock on Monday, that's the 25th of April, in recognition of Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, or otherwise Anzac Day. The service will take place at the Anzac Memorial on the seafront opposite the Hotel Prince Regent, and you can see a picture of it there on screen. The Mayor of Weymouth, local councillors, representatives from ex-service organisations and associations, standard bearers and Commander Luke Miller, representing the Australian High Commission, will attend the service commemorating Anzac Day at 11 o'clock on Monday. At the Anzac Memorial on the seafront, where the service will be held, commemorates the thousands of Australian and New Zealand volunteer service personnel who passed through camps and hospitals in Dorset during the First World War, between battles in the Middle East and those on the Western Front in Europe. Councillor Colin Huckle, who's the Mayor of Weymouth Town Council, said Weymouth Town Council is honoured to have the opportunity to host this important Anzac Day service at the Anzac Memorial on Weymouth Seafront. The event offers the forces, families and wider community a chance to commemorate and honour the members of the Australian and New Zealand Army who fought at Gallipoli during World War I. Everyone is welcome to attend the service in recognition of the sacrifice made by personnel of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. Members of the public are welcome to attend. Oh, sorry, I've just repeated that, haven't I? Yeah, so members of the public are welcome to attend. Wreaths, including one sent from New Zealand, will be laid by the Mayor of Weymouth, Councillor Colin Huckle, and local ex-service organisations, and the service will be carried out by the Mayor's Chaplain, Reverend Deacon Geoffrey Carey. Now, staying with Weymouth Town Council, Weymouth Town Council have installed a massive deck chair on Weymouth seafront. There's a picture of it up on the screen. The giant deck chair aims to create a fantastic new photo opportunity for visitors to Weymouth Beach. The giant deck chair was installed on the promenade by Weymouth Town Council to help boost the local economy ahead of the new visitor season. As well as providing an excellent new feature along the town's popular seafront, the deck chair features the hashtag #WeymouthBeach, and visitors and residents are encouraged to share their snaps on social media. Councillor Ryan Hope, who's chair of Services Committee, said, "We wanted to do something fun but with high impact that local residents and visitors alike would enjoy at this popular seaside destination. It's a great addition to Weymouth, and we do hope to see plenty of people sharing their own pictures across social media platforms of them sitting on the giant deck chair using the hashtag #WeymouthBeach. The deck chair is positioned in a very photogenic spot next to the council's popular Prom Cafe with our beautiful stretch of sandy beach behind. It's something visual and fun which we hope will appeal to all ages." Well, there you go. Do pop along to Weymouth Beach, find the big deck chair, sit yourself in it, take some pictures and share them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and all those social media platforms with that hashtag #WeymouthBeach. Now, so sad news, a fire has affected a local fish and chip shop in Weymouth, with firefighters being called to the premises in the early hours of the morning on Friday. As a result, Stracey's Fish and Chips on Preston Road is now closed until further notice. The owner, Mr. Lyons, said, "It was lucky that I managed to get downstairs and through the shop. There was lots of smoke. I'm pretty gutted. It's the holiday soon and it's the beginning of the season for us." Mr. Lyons, who said the fire was in the prepping area of the building, thanked the fire service who came in the middle of the night to extinguish the flames. The inside of the shop was left blackened from damage caused by fire and smoke. Police attended the scene to assist the fire service in closing the road while fire crews tackled the blaze. Now, could you benefit from a fortune that you might be entitled to? Now, 91 people have died across Dorset in recent years and left property or money which has been unclaimed. And 11 of those are in the Weymouth, Portland and Dorchester areas. Now, we have mentioned some previously, I think last year, but the latest list has been updated. Now, what you need to do is listen to these names, and if any of those names might be distant relatives of yours, then you may have a claim on their estate. If you don't, then eventually that money goes to the country and to the government. So, of course, it's best if it can be pushed in the direction of family members, if at all possible. So, when a person dies without leaving a will and there appears to be no family members, the estate passes to the Crown as ownerless property. In general, estates are held on a list and can be claimed within 12 years from the date of death, and then it's taken into the Crown. So, see if you recognise any of these names from Weymouth, Portland and Dorchester area. And if you do, I'll tell you who you need to get in touch with. The first one is Helena Barrett of Weymouth. Then there's Albert George Carter of Weymouth. Mark Franklin of Dorchester. Annalise Godfrey from Dorchester. Felix Leppard from Weymouth. Sydney McNewman from Dorchester. Dawn Moore from Dorchester. John Hurrell Robertson from Dorchester, Phyllis Nanit Streams from Dorchester, Judzas Strumskis from Weymouth, and one that we did mention before, because the name is a bit strange, is Mr. Mouth of Truth, Weymouth. Somebody obviously changed their name at some stage in their life. Now, if you know any of those, you need to contact the Bonner Vacante Division of the Government Legal Department. And you can phone them on 0207 210 3000. That's 020 7210 3000. Now, what I will do is later this evening, I will put up that list of names on the Wyke Regis TV Facebook page. So if you want to check back there, just go into Facebook, search for Wyke Regis TV and check whether any of those names mean anything to you. And if they do, it's worth a phone call. You never know. You might be a millionaire, you might own 100 properties, or it might just be an envelope with some old paper cuttings in and a few pounds. But you never know. There are things of value that have been left, and the government obviously want to try and unite those with family members and rightful owners. Now, Tesco's, if you shop at Tesco's, and if you like Fray Bentos Just Chicken, supermarket Tesco's, and in fact others since I wrote the script, I've noticed, have issued product recalls on a popular product sold, which could be a significant health risk if eaten. The product recall has been issued for Fray Bentos chicken pies over fears that they may contain plastic particles. Baxter's Food Group, who's the company that owns Fray Bentos, issued the recall this week through the Food Standards Agency, warning of the possible presence of plastic in the product, making it unsafe to eat. So if you've got any Fray Bentos Just Chicken pies in your cupboard, or you've recently bought some from Tesco's or any other store, the best thing to do is to take them back to the store that you purchased them from. I'm sure you'll get a full refund or a replacement product, and at least you will be safe. That's the key thing. Now, plans are coming together for Weymouth Rotary Club's Fair in the Square, which will take place on the 28th and 29th of May at Hope Square in Weymouth. It will be a return to the popular event after a 2-year break due to COVID, but they did manage during one of those years to do an online event rather than the in-person event in Hope Square. This year's event will take place at the start of school half-term week, in that week that leads up to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. So a really good week for them to be doing it and for people to go along. It will see acts such as Package Deal, The Hustle, Monkey Jump performing on the stage in Hope Square outside the Brewers Quay building. Now, the event has main sponsors of Waterside Holiday Group and We Are Weymouth, and a number of other local businesses as well. But there is still room for sponsors, and the Rotary Club are asking, if you're a local business and you're interested in sponsoring that event, to get in touch with them at sponsorship@weymouthrotary.uk. Sponsorship at weymouthrotary.uk if you would like to help with sponsoring the Rotary Club's Fair in the Square this year. Now, sticking with children, we've mentioned children a few times in today's programme. Reports from the Children's Society indicates that children in Dorset are more likely to receive free school meals than they were 5 years ago. The Children's Society warns that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused more long-term devastating consequences for low-income families. The Department of Education figures show that 59% of Dorset children in need were eligible for free school meals, and that this had increased from 49% 4 years ago. So up from 49% 4 years ago to now 59%. Quite a significant increase there. Free school meals are available to children of parents who have an income of less than £7,400 or are in receipt of benefits. The figures in Dorset are higher than the national average, which is currently 57% compared to the 59% in Dorset. A spokesman from the Children's Society said that the pandemic had been devastating for low-income families. The Department of Education have said that they want to ensure every eligible child has access to free school meals, and this is why they have expanded access to them. Now, and finally, in tonight's headlines. If you like silly songs and smutty shenanigans, it can be enjoyed when Living Spit bring a hilariously historical tale to Dorchester Corn Exchange on Thursday the 5th of May, and it starts at 8 o'clock. Virgin on the Ridiculous tells of 1558 England, a country divided by religion and politics, teetering on the brink of civil war. The hopes of the nation lie with one woman. Fast forward to 2022 and the hopes of the nation lie with 2 West Country actors. By popular demand and the fact that they can't be bothered to write a new show, it says, Elizabeth Spack, the third of Living Spit's unholy trinity of hilarious heritage God, they put some really big words in this. historiographies is go as Howard and Stuart attempt to tell the story of the greatest monarch that ever lived, Elizabeth, the Virgin Queen. With more live original music, silly songs, smutty shenanigans, perfunctory props, and historical horseplay. God, I got my tongue around that. Historical horseplay. This promises to be another poorly researched lesson in Tudor history that you'll never forget. Tickets cost £14 or £12 for members of Dorchester Arts or Concessions, and you can get tickets on 01305 266926. That's 01305 266926. And that was on, what was the date? It was Thursday the 5th of May at 8 o'clock. So there we go. Seems a bit of fun, doesn't it? Okay, that's the end of our headlines tonight. Now, as we said at the start of tonight's programme, today is St George's Day. So this week, Janet Hall has been looking at St George and St George's Day.
Hello. The feast day of St George, patron saint of England, is celebrated annually on April the 23rd, today. However, the Church of England has said that no Saint's Day should be marked between Palm Sunday and the Sunday after Easter. So if April the 23rd ever falls between that period, then the celebrations are moved to a later date. So this year the Church will be celebrating St George's Day on April the 26th. So who was St George? Well, he was born around AD 280 in what is now known as Cappadocia in Turkey. St George became a soldier in the Roman army. He later progressed to the role of a personal guard for the Emperor Diocletian. The emperor was one of the leaders of the great persecution of Christians, which saw churches destroyed, scriptures burnt, and followers of the religion prohibited from joining the army and assembling for worship. St George protested against such persecution and remained dedicated to his Christian faith, consequently facing imprisonment and torture. He was eventually beheaded in Palestine on April the 23rd, AD 303. St George became a legendary figure in English history due to his courage and bravery. However, he never actually set foot in England. The country adopted him as a patron saint, with April the 23rd being chosen as the date of celebration to mark his death. King Edward III established the Order of the Garter in his name around 1348, but it wasn't until the 14th century that St George was regarded as a special protector of the English. St George has been immortalised in many ways. For example, in Shakespeare's Henry V, Act 3, features a speech with "Cry God for Harry, England and St George." In addition to his army background and dedication to his faith, St George is famous for fighting a dragon, which typically symbolised the devil during the Middle Ages. Legend says that St George fought a dragon and saved a princess in the town of Salini, although this is most likely a myth. According to legend, the only well in Silene was guarded by a dragon, and each day residents had to make human sacrifice in order to access the water. A princess was the next to be sacrificed, and on the day that she was due to be killed, St George bravely fought the dragon to save her. After St George successfully killed the dragon, the people of Silene were finally granted free access to the well, and as a token of their gratitude, they converted to Christianity. St George's Cross, England's flag and part of the Union Jack, is the symbol displayed on April the 23rd. Dating back to the year 1188, crosses were first used by King Henry II of England and King Philip II of France for their crusade symbols. Despite England adopting a white cross at first, it later switched to a red cross, which was used as part of the uniform of English soldiers in several battles. Edward I eventually made this symbol a national emblem during his reign. Today, St George's Cross is frequently used at football, rugby and cricket games, with fans wearing scarves, painting their faces and flying flags to show their support for England. While St George's Day celebrations have decreased over time, there are still some parades, music performances and public events held across the country to honour the patron saint. Well, there's still a few hours left of St George's Day for you to fly the flag or do a Morris dance, or you could come to All Saints Church for a concert by the Parnham Voices. We all hope to see you there.
Thank you, Janet. And here at White Ridges TV, we've been flying our St George's flag all day, as we do on all special days. We put the correct flag up. Now, our second story this evening will come from a bit of our history, really. Viewers will know that from shortly after the start of the first lockdown from the COVID-19 pandemic, when we started broadcasting, we introduced a quiz and our news programme, and we started broadcasting programmes from Clive Gray, who is a keen gardener from Kent, who was doing something very similar up in Kent, and we tied up with Clive and we rebroadcast his programmes down here. Well, this week I had the chance to catch up with Clive and have a chat with him. I've been wanting to do it for ages, but he's been very busy and I've been very busy, and it's the first time we managed to actually get together. Unfortunately, a bit like the BBC, when they have people phoning in and linking in, we did have a few technical problems. And the video feed froze a few times. However, the audio is pretty good, so you'll hear all of Clive's chatting, and you'll see him sat in his garden. Although he doesn't, his movement is not as good as it should be. I think the fact that he was sat in his garden was actually something to do with the fact that we struggled with the video feed a little bit, because he's probably on the extent of his Wi-Fi signal at home. But here we go. Here's my interview, actually done yesterday morning with Clive Gray, who produces A Year in Gardening, which we cover on our channels as well. So today I'm joined by Clive Gray, who some of you will be familiar with, as he produces an online gardening programme that goes out on YouTube called A Year Gardening. So welcome to you, Clive. Nice for you to join me today. Let's start off with some questions for you then. So tell me about when you first got interested in gardening.
Well, I think I've always had an interest in the outside world and gardening in general. But when I was very young, I used to go and visit my grandfather, Portslade in Sussex, and he had a lovely garden, and I was always keen that one day I could do something very similar. So I've always had this sort of deep yearning inside to have a garden, but until we moved here, which was actually 5 years ago today, I didn't have to do anything. So took advantage when I got it.
And so obviously you've had this programme that you have been doing regularly called A Year Gardening that you've put out on YouTube, and we follow that down in South Dorset, as you know. What actually sort of gave you the idea to start it, and why did you start it?
Well, it wasn't actually designed to go as far afield and as wide as it was. About 2.5 years ago, my wife was diagnosed with a particular condition, which meant that I wanted to spend more time at home with her. And I used to, prior to that, visit a couple of ladies from the church and help them with their gardens. And when I decided more time at them, I'd put something together for them each week so that they could keep up with what they needed in the garden without me having to go and time with them. And it sort of grew from to what we have now, with our shows getting a couple of thousand views and having 200 odd followers on YouTube. So it's blossomed far more than I thought it ever would.
Yeah, and I think lots of us are finding that, obviously, with things that we've done over the last couple of years. I mean, we started our service obviously due to lockdown and wanting to keep in touch with people as well, and we found exactly the same. So it does help us that have got an interest to actually reach out far and wide, and I suspect, like us, that you've got people that watch your programme from all over the world, which is, it's absolutely brilliant. So when you get out in the garden, what do you enjoy most in the garden? What's the thing that you really enjoy doing?
Personally, I enjoy sitting and looking at the garden. There are certain little tasks that I really do find very therapeutic. Deadheading of the flowers where you encourage more growth. Just the general maintenance, the tidying, the weeding, they're things that really put you into. And I find that the more I do, the happier I am inside, and so carry on doing it.
Now, putting a programme together, whether it's weekly or monthly or it's once a quarter, whenever anybody has to put a programme together, getting the ideas is always a problem, and we have the same problem here, looking for things to cover each week. So where do you get your ideas for the programme from?
Well, 2 or 3 different places. Firstly, I'm a very avid reader, and I do get a lot of things from books. The actual design and planning of the garden is something I've been working on over a long period of time. Yet again, this year I'm going to be making a couple of minor changes. The theme of the garden is now fixed in place. So we're driven by the seasons and things that need to be done here, but also I will see something walking down the street, and I'll see something in someone's garden, I'll see something on one of the television programs and think, wow, I really ought to try. There's no such thing as success or failure in the garden. It's just whether things actually work out the way you envisage them. And it doesn't always work, but a lot of the time it does. But the priority is to create something that I'm comfortable in. And that's all you want for the garden. If you're happy with what you've got, be it a window box, be it 10 acres, if you're happy with it,
absolutely, yeah. And of course, ideal time for gardening this time of year, and we were out in our garden last weekend doing tidying up and cutting things back and putting some new plants in. What should viewers be thinking of as we're sort of approaching the end of April and into the start of May? What's the sort of key priorities for things they should be doing in the garden at the moment?
To make sure your growing plants are fed on a regular basis. So in at least really once a fortnight, you should be adding a proprietary feed to your watering can and making sure the growth is encouraged and is strong. And this time of year, we've got flowering shrubs coming through, our perennials growing, we've got our new vegetable plants all coming through, and they need food. And so as a priority, that needs to be done. You've got also at this time of year, coming towards the end of that now, but your spring pruning, so things like your forsythias, your roses, your buckwheats, all should be pruned by now, and preparing for that wonderful that we call summer.
Absolutely, and we've certainly had a taste of that over the last week down here in South Dorset. I don't know what it's been like for you in Kent, but it's certainly been nice here. So very, very, very soon, I guess the next episode of A Year Gardening will be out. When can we expect to see that? Is it sort of nearing completion?
That will be as soon as I've finished filming it, probably. I've got probably around about another 2 or 3 hours worth of work to do on the next show. We've got a few bits and pieces that I can let you know about. Obviously, I've been putting in my potatoes, tidying the strawberry beds. I'll give you a little bit of an update on how the repairs to the grass have gone. And there's couple of nice little surprises in there as well, which I won't want to spoil it for you now.
No, absolutely. No, well,
that will be live for the first week of May.
Excellent. We look forward to that. And of course, if any of our viewers have got any questions for Clive, do email us at news@whiteregis.tv, and we'll pass those on to Clive, and maybe that'll help him with some of the content for future programmes. So, all viewers have got the opportunity to ask and input. So, Clive, thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to the next episode of A Year Gardening, which we will put out and let our viewers know about. And I think I wish you happy gardening. There we go. That was my interview with Clive Gray, who does A Year Gardening yesterday. So I apologise for the video quality there. I think Clive was on the extent of his Wi-Fi, but we pressed on and got the interview done, because I thought we wouldn't get it done at all if we delayed it any further. Now our third piece is just a short piece, but it's an important piece. Dorset Police have issued a short video this week focusing on motorcycle accidents. It's one of the most challenging things in terms of road safety in our county, and it does have a significant impact on people's lives, with many people getting seriously injured and unfortunately killed as a result of road traffic accidents. And of course, motorcyclists and cyclists are the most vulnerable of our road users. And in fact, the last full year of statistics shows that there were 117 motorcyclist casualties in 2021, and 55 people either killed or very seriously injured. So I think it's worth sharing this video with you to show you how motorcycle accidents can happen and how we can be vigilant on the road. It's very, very short, but it does really bring home the need to think bike. There we go, a very important message to be vigilant and look out for those bikes. They are small, they do move fast, and we can take a look and the road is clear and start moving, and then find that bike is zooming towards us. And obviously cyclists and motorcyclists to be aware that they're not often very visible, and therefore to be very aware that there may be sudden movements from cars unexpected as well. Now we come to that point in the programme where it's time to see what the weather has in hold for us this weekend and the week ahead. And first of all, we have the national weather forecast, and this week we are joined by Claire Nazir from the Met Office.
Hello there, welcome to your weather update from the Met Office. Over the next few days, still that brisk easterly wind, keeping things cooler along the east coast, and we are chasing cloud. The reason why low pressure sits towards the south of the UK, a squeeze on the isobars, and this feature here through Saturday and into Sunday could bring a little showery rain to more southern areas. And then the blues come in from the east, meaning it's going to turn cooler next week. Temperatures could be below average for this time of year, even with some night frost, but we lose the wind through Tuesday and into Wednesday. So some good news, but also some sunshine coming through as well. So through Saturday evening and overnight, we lose these showers here, but notice towards the southeast, some showers will clip the far south as we head into the early hours of Saturday morning. So expect a little bit of showery rain. However, many areas on Sunday are likely to be fine, mostly dry with some sunshine after low cloud burns back across the north as well as the east. Temperatures typically around 14 to 17 degrees Celsius, but as I said, it does turn cooler next week as the winds shift round to more of a northerly direction, but we lose the strength of the wind, so that's some good news. I'll see you later.
There we go. Now, what does the local weather have in store for us? Well, here we go. As Claire was saying in the national forecast, it's going to be a little bit cooler, but we've still got some sunny spells during the week, but chance of a shower on Sunday and Monday. The one good thing is it is very good growing weather. I certainly noticed that the grass in my garden has grown significantly over the last 7 days. It was cut last Friday, and already by yesterday it's looking like it needs cutting again, and that's as a result of some showers and some warmth and sunshine. Now it's time to look at our traffic and travel for this week. Traffic and travel, we've still got works continuing on the Portland Road and the Portland Beach Road to preserve the road surface, and there will be traffic controls there at times. Also roadworks with traffic control on Wyke Road and in Walpole Street, and those are the ones that are most likely to cause hold-ups. Other roadworks this week are in Oldcastle Road, Perth Street, Esplanade Row, Radipole Lane near the junction with Sycamore Road, Beaumont Avenue and Rex Lane. Now on the trains this weekend, Great Western have got an amended timetable all weekend on services to London, and they do have some bus replacement services. And the only thing on South West trains is this weekend, and that's a bus replacement service in the Wimbledon area of London if you're going that way. Looking now at what's on, firstly to the Pavilion. Tomorrow, 24th of April, Sunday night comedy with Maze Adam. 28th of April, Go Now, the music of the Moody Blues. 1st of May, Coldplace, the leading Coldplay tribute band. 6th of May, Genesis Connected. 7th of May, the sensational 60s Experience. And also on the 7th of May, Ultimate Madness. 10th of May, Paul Merton's Impro Chums. That's Paul Merton, who you see on Have I Got News For You and some of the other comedy programmes, and some of these colleagues from there are on tour doing some comedy. 12th of May, Ian Waite and Vincent Simone. Act 2 of the popular Strictly Dancers tour also comes to Weymouth. Now for availability and tickets, go to the weymouthpavilion.com website or give the box office a call on 01305 783 225. The next big thing there is Dorset Arts Week, 21st of May. Obviously the Platinum Jubilee celebrations from the 2nd of June and the Victorian weekend on the 23rd of July. Other local events in the coming week. 24th of April tomorrow, Weymouth Junior Park Run. Meet at Lobmore Country Park at 9 AM, and that's for 4 to 14-year-olds. 24th of April again tomorrow, the Yeovil Car Club on a run to Weymouth, and their vehicles will be on display. I think it's outside the pavilion, but I wasn't able to double check that, from 11 AM to 4 PM. 25th of April, that's Monday, Walking for Health. It's a walking group. They are meeting at Eastern Gardens at 10:30 for a gentle stroll. Obviously on 25th of April, as we mentioned earlier, the Anzac Memorial Service on the Esplanade at 11 o'clock. And another one that may be interest to those with younger people in their families, 27th of April, Nature Tots, RSPB Radipole Lake at 10 o'clock. Go along for bug hunting, splashing in the puddles. It's £4 per person, and booking is essential, and you can book through the National RSPB website. Now, looking ahead to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, we've been mentioning this for many, many weeks, and lots of people now starting to ask what's happening in Wyke Regis. Well, I can tell you on Thursday the 2nd of June, that's the first day of the extended bank holiday weekend, there's going to be a family fun day at All Saints Church in Wyke Regis. There will be a teddy zip wire from the top of the tower. There will be a family treasure hunt. There will be tower tours up to the top of the tower, and if it's a nice day, it's an absolutely fantastic place to get pictures towards Portland and Hardy's Monument and out to Weymouth Bay. Now, booking for that will be essential, and that details for that and the website to do that will be announced in due course. And then in the evening, there's going to be a barbecue, live music, and then the beacon lighting at 9:45 to tie in with all the beacons being lit across the country. Now, if anybody else is organising anything in Wyke Regis or the wider Weymouth or South Dorset, do let us know, news@wykeregis.tv, and be happy to share that with everybody as well in future programmes. It won't be long now, it's only just over a month away, and so plans hopefully in place for lots of things. Do share them with us so that we can share them with others. Well, that's got us to the end of yet another programme. Just leaves me to say that services at All Saints Church tomorrow, 8 o'clock and 9:30. The 9:30 will be live streamed, and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church. And our usual Saturday night quiz online on all our channels will be shortly. We'll be going live at 7:15 with the quiz starting at 7:30. That is open to anyone from Wyke, Weymouth, South Dorset, UK, or the world, and we do have people join us from literally all over the world. So that is free, it's family orientated, and everybody is welcome. So please share it with family, friends, work colleagues, and family abroad, and do join in. If you've got any stories, any events, any news for us, do drop us a line during the week, news@Wyke Regis TV, and we look forward to being back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and the week ahead. Good night.